We had the camera ready. We'd been waiting for weeks. Sarah and I stood on opposite sides of the living room, arms open, coaxing our daughter to take her very first steps toward one of us.
She walked right past both of us, straight into her brother's arms instead. My name is Ryan Mitchell, and this is the story of the 10 seconds that told our entire family exactly who Lily trusted most in the world.
Lily was 11 months old, pulling herself up on furniture for weeks now, cruising along the couch with increasing confidence. Every parent knows the anticipation that builds once a baby starts standing unassisted, the sense that first steps could happen any day, any moment, and you desperately don't want to miss it. That Sunday afternoon, Jake had come home from a friend's house just as Sarah was setting Lily down in the middle of the living room rug. He dropped his backpack by the door and immediately crouched down. "Hey, is she about to walk? She looks like she's about to walk." "She's been testing it out all week," Sarah said, moving to one side of the room. "Ryan, get over here, quick, in case this is it." I hurried to the opposite side, crouching down the way Sarah had, both of us holding out encouraging hands, phone cameras already raised in anticipation. Lily stood in the center of the rug, wobbling slightly, glancing between us with the intense concentration she brought to every new challenge. Sarah wiggled her fingers encouragingly. "Come here, baby girl. Come to mama." I did the same from my side. "You can do it, Lily. Come on." For a moment, she looked genuinely torn, glancing between us like she was weighing her options. Then, without warning, she turned entirely away from both of us, toward Jake, who was still crouched by the door, watching with wide, delighted eyes. "Lily?" he said, surprised, holding out his own hands almost reflexively. She took one wobbling step, then another. 3 unsteady, determined steps directly across the rug, straight past both of us, landing with a triumphant giggle in her brother's outstretched arms. The living room erupted. Jake, catching her with the same careful confidence he'd developed over months of practice, laughed with pure delighted shock. "She walked to me. Did you guys see that? She walked straight to me." Sarah and I looked at each other, both laughing, both a little stunned, phones still awkwardly raised, having captured absolutely nothing except 2 adults staring in the wrong direction. "We got faked out by our own daughter," Sarah said, laughing harder now. She looked right at us and then just, "Nope," going to Jake instead. "I can't believe I caught her," Jake said, still holding Lily against his chest, her small hands patting his face in the familiar gesture that had become her signature affection for him. I wasn't even trying to be part of this. I was just standing by the door. Later that evening, after Lily had been put down for the night, Sarah and I sat on the porch, still smiling about the afternoon's unexpected turn. "You know what gets me," Sarah said, "is that we spent weeks anticipating this moment, planning exactly how it would go. And she just completely rewrote the plan without a second thought." "I don't think it's really that surprising, though," I said. "Not when you think about everything Jake's been to her since the day she was born. First word, endless bedtime stories, teaching her that spinning pencil trick. Of course she'd walk to him first." "It's just further proof of something we already knew," Sarah said. "That boy is exactly as much her family as either of us." I found Jake in his room a little later, still glowing from the afternoon's events, replaying the video on his phone for what was probably the 10th time. "Pretty cool afternoon, huh?" I said, leaning against his doorframe. "Best one in a while," he agreed, still smiling at the screen. "I keep thinking about how she looked at you and Sarah first, like she was actually thinking about it, and then just changed her mind. Any theories on why?" I asked, genuinely curious what conclusion he'd drawn. Honestly, I think she just knows I'm always going to catch her, Jake said, setting his phone down. Not just today, like, in general. I think babies know that stuff before they can even say it. I sat down on the edge of his bed, struck by how much wisdom that simple observation carried. I think you might be exactly right about that. That night, I found myself thinking back over the entire journey that had led to this particular afternoon. A boy who once worried he might become the extra one in our family, who once tried to quietly disappear to make things easier for everyone else, now standing at the center of his baby sister's very first steps into the world. Every fear he'd ever carried about his place in this family had been answered, piece by piece, in moments exactly like this one. Not through grand speeches or dramatic reassurances, but through the simple, undeniable evidence of how deeply he was loved and trusted by the smallest member of our family. I mentioned this to Sarah before we went to bed. Remember when he was scared Lily would somehow make him less permanent here? I remember, Sarah said softly. I don't think either of us could have designed a clearer answer to that fear than what happened today. We still have the video, of course, a slightly shaky, poorly angled clip of Sarah and I standing uselessly on opposite sides of the room while our daughter walked with total confidence in an entirely different direction. It's not the video we planned to capture. It's better. If you've ever had a plan completely rewritten by someone too young to know they were doing it, if you've ever needed undeniable proof that you're trusted exactly as much as you hoped, I want you to know, sometimes the smallest steps say the biggest things, long before words ever could. If this story moved you, let me know in the comments. And if you have a story of your own, share it below. It might just become our next episode. This is Silent Love, and this was a story about 10 seconds that said everything.